Hello guys, it's Mimi and welcome to my channel. Do you know there is a cold case in China that has been compared to the Los Angeles Black Dahlia due to its similarities? Today we're going to talk about this case, Nanjing University mutilation case. This case is a true crime that took place in China during the 90s. It is a story of a female university student in Nanjing who was killed and cut into 1,000 pieces. 28 years later, this case still remains unsolved. Now let's begin. Diao Ai Qing, born on March 11, 1977, in Shengao Town, Jiangyan City, Jiangsu Province, came from a farming family and one sister. Her parents were farmers. Farmers during the 90s in China usually being referred as not very wealthy. According to Diao Ai Qing's friends before her death, she was around 1.65 meters tall, of average build, and had a plain appearance. She had short hair, single eyelids, and was slightly nearsighted, often wearing glasses when reading or writing. She had a small mole on the upper right of her mouth, about the size of a sesame seed. Her voice was slightly hoarse, and she spoke relatively quickly. One detail about this girl, known for her neat handwriting, was that sometimes intentionally complicated her name by writing as Diao Ai Qing, used as an alternate character for Qing. On January 7, 1996, Diao Ai Qing attended a gathering with several old classmates and returned to Nanjing University on the following day. The next day, on the evening of January 10th, after having dinner, she went out. Since the Chinese New Year was 19th February that year, was still far away, winter break had not yet begun. Around 5 p.m. on January 9th, Diao Ai Qing was last seen by classmates, leaving school campus. But she did not return. Before leaving, she was reportedly upset because she and her roommate were fined by a teacher for using an electric stove in their dormitory. This violated school regulations, her badge suggesting that she did not initially plan to leave. The last sighting of her was on Qingdao Road, where she was seen wearing a red jacket. 10 days later, on January 19th, after a heavy snowfall, Diao Ai Qing's body was discovered. On Friday, January 19th, due to the snowfall, street cleaning, which was taking place around 4 to 5 a.m., was delayed until after the snow stopped later in the morning. So some details might be disturbing. You may choose to exit or skip ahead if you like. The following is a timeline discoveries. First discovery. One cleaner found a plastic bag in a pile of garbage at construction site of Huaqiao Road. The bag contained 500 pieces of flesh, weighing about 0.8 kilograms, but she did not report it. Second discovery. Later, the cleaner and another person found another bag containing similar parts in a pile of garbage at 13 Dajianying Alley. This bag weighed about 0.7 kilograms. Mistaking the contents for pork, the cleaner took the bag home. When she started washing them at home, she found 3 of this mixed in a bag and immediately reported it. After receiving the report on the morning of January 19th, the police communicated with the sanitation department and issued a directive point in this area. The police quickly began to search through large piles of garbage in the surrounding areas, using search dogs to aid in locating other body parts. And other 2 suitcases and 2 bin bags were found. Third discovery. A gray and black travel bag with the word Shanghai, which is a tourism bag, printed on the front, and the image of an aeroplane, and the Yangtze River Bridge on the back. It contained more body parts and organs, weighing about 5 kilograms. I found it hard to read. This makes me feel quite uncomfortable. The fourth discovery. A grass green canvas travel bag, the word Guilin Landscape, which is another tourist place, printed on it. It contained relatively complete intestinal tissue and body parts and other parts of the body, weighted around 6.5 kilograms. There were about 12 bags found in different locations around Nanjing University. The last item was found on the evening of January 20th, which is a Saturday. Bed sheets was cut in half, with one half containing the victim's head and body parts, and they also found bloody fingerprints, weighted 3 kilograms. Other half of the bedsheets was covered with clothes and underwear. One theory is that the victim's clothes were neatly folded and weighted about 1.5 kilograms, just like her intestines. Evidence showed that all the discovered items should have been thrown out 19 days after the crime. A few days later, a red jacket was found hooked under a manhole cover with body parts inside. After these items were found, new body parts appeared again near Nanjing University. It may be that they were missed on the first search, or the perpetrator may be throwing them out one after another during the police search. Whoever did this carried the process very carefully, left behind a cooked head and 3 fingers that could be identified. This seems very contradictory. It makes people to think maybe the perpetrator left those items behind on purpose. Crucial organs including the heart, liver, and spleen were never found. After the crime, the Nanjing police took the case very seriously and established a special task force that was stationed at Nanjing University. Nearly all the nearby residents were questioned during the investigation. Task force remained at the university for 3 months before withdrawing. In the mid-1990s, DNA extraction technology was available in a few key cities in China, but it wasn't until the 21st century that DNA comparison technology became accessible. The forensics team was only able to identify the remains as belonging to a female through the analysis of body hair and muscle tissues. Relatives were able to identify her through a mole on her right cheek. Even though the investigation was launched near the universities, but no major clues of the crime were found, and the case failed to make any progresses at the time. On July 1st, 2008, an officer who had been involved in this investigation of this case shared some more details. Even though 12 years had passed, the case was still vivid in his memory. The senior officer stated that the perpetrator was indeed very cruel. The dismembered body parts they discovered mounted into 2,000 pieces, not the 1,000 pieces rumored in the public. Each piece was cut very small and precisely. Based on the killer's method, it appeared to be very professional, suggesting a certain level of anatomical knowledge. They also mentioned that he has seen the victim's feet and hand, and the dismemberment were very clean. Additionally, the victim's head and organs have been. In 2016, Nanjing police told the family that the case is still under investigation. The reaction from the public. After the incident, Nanjing University refunded Diao Ai Qing's tuition fees. Diao's family left Nanjing for their hometown 5 days later. In 2021, Diao's family lawsuit against the University of Nanjing for 1.62 million Chinese yuan, which is about 246,000 US dollars. The victim's sister, Diao Ai said the lawsuit is for seeking justice rather than compensation. Conspiracy theorists repeatedly point out the dismemberment and the leaked internal details, believing that there must be untouchable forces behind this case, preventing the police from further investigation. Otherwise, how could a victim who appeared to have no identity or background and was killed in a relatively close environment still have no clue at all after this time? And there is other people who believe this case is involved with black magic, as the organs were never found. Amid all the various speculations, someone has put an even more frightening guess. Since 1996, the killer may have also been online, seeing all the theories people have been discovering over the years. Anyway, to this day, most netizens believe there is only a little hope to solve this case, unless the killer deliberately preserved the weapon used over 20 years ago. Even a confession may not even enough to secure a conviction. Furthermore, if the age range speculated by many is accurate, the killer, even if relatively young at that time, would now likely to be over 50 years old. After so many years of searching for the truth, Everyone is still at a loss. Hopefully, in the future, with the more advanced technology, new clues can be discovered, and a news headline will finally appear. The truth has finally surfaced. Thank you so much for watching my video. Yeah, 谢谢，拜拜。